José Eleuterio Derkes Martinó was born in Guayama, Puerto Rico, in September 1836, into a free Afro-descendant family. He was the son of Gerardo Derkes Serafin, a tailor originally from Curacao, and of Serafina Martinó, a black woman native to Guayama. Although he was born free, he grew up in Puerto Rico at a time when slavery was still a reality and when skin color determined opportunities, social respect, and access to knowledge. He spent his youth in a country where thousands of black people remained enslaved, and where even free people of African descent faced racial discrimination, exclusion, and structural limitations. From an early age, he understood that, for a black man in the 19th century, education was not merely a personal aspiration, but a tool for resistance, dignity, and survival. This conviction would shape José Derkes' entire life. He believed intelligence and knowledge were the paths to freedom, to find justice and equality in a society that denied black people their basic human rights. The intellectual capacity of black people gave them the possibility to fight for their rights through legal platforms for justice. During his youth, he received academic training under the guidance of the Venezuelan teacher Rafael Castro, and he successfully passed the required examinations to become certified as a primary school teacher. An extraordinary achievement for a person of African descent in an era dominated by racial prejudice. Toward the end of the 1860s, around 1870, he founded a private school in his hometown of Guayama, Puerto Rico, where he taught for more than a decade. And he established educational and recreational centers aimed at the artisan class, made up largely of black and mixed-race people. His educational project had a social and political purpose: to raise the cultural level of Afro-Puerto Rican workers and to demonstrate the full intellectual capacity of the Puerto Rican man of color, a population that the Spanish colonial system regarded as inferior. While he carried out this work, the country was going through intense debates over political reforms and the abolition of slavery. Beginning in 1867, his first writings began to circulate. Within the context of the Junta Informativa de Reformas and the growing abolitionist movement, José Eleuterio Derkes ventured into poetry, essays, and journalism. But it was theater that became the space where he articulated his most transformative vision. In March 1871, 4 years before the abolition of slavery, he premiered his play Ernesto Lefebvre, or The Triumph of Talent in Guayama, considered by researcher Roberto Ramos Perea to be the first Puerto Rican play written by a black intellectual. In it, he defended the idea that talent and intelligence should prevail over lineage, wealth, or skin color. The message was deeply subversive in a society rooted in slavery, especially because the economy depended heavily on enslaved labor. He asserted that any son of the people, including those of African descent, could become a leader and guide of society. For the black and mixed-race working classes, his work represented an unprecedented form of visibility and dignity in literature. That same year, he published the poetry collection Piges and the essay La Religion, where he criticized the religious fanaticism present in Puerto Rico and advocated for a spirituality that was genuine and authentic. In his time, José Derkes distinguished himself by producing literary works of a romantic aesthetic, with artistic sensitivity and a strong social critique. He portrayed the black Puerto Rican man on stage with dignity, moving away from the stereotypes of the time that reduced him to a figure of mockery or ridicule. The abolition of slavery in Puerto Rico was decreed in 1873 and took place during the height of his intellectual life. José Derkes was a direct witness to the emancipation of the black population in Puerto Rico. Freedom was complicated for the formerly enslaved. Slavery was abolished and ceased to be legal in Puerto Rico. Approximately 29,000 enslaved people were declared free by law immediately, meaning that legally, no person could be the property of another. However, the law established a system known as patronato, which altered the reality of that freedom. Instead of having masters, formerly enslaved people became dependent on employers and were known as freed persons, libertos. The freed persons were required to work for 3 years for their former owners or for the state as employees. In addition, they could not change their residence or employment without government authorization. Celebrations and religious ceremonies were held in various places, and black communities experienced this moment as the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter in their history. However, legal freedom did not eliminate racial discrimination, and his work continued to focus on combating persistent prejudice and inequality. In 1874, together with other young people from Guayama, he founded the reformist publication El Martillo. That same year, the governor of Puerto Rico under Spanish rule, José Eleuterio Sanz, ordered the replacement of Puerto Rican teachers with instructors of Spanish origin in order to curb the spread of reformist and independence ideas. This measure led to the closure of José Derkes' school and forced him to relocate to Ponce, where he continued working as a teacher and journalist. Later, he wrote La Nida del Proscripto and the comedy Don Nuno Tiburcio de Pereira, 1877, in which he addressed the country's racial and social tensions. In 1883, he presented his costumbrista comedy Teu Fil, one of his most significant works. In it, he directly addressed racial prejudice and advocated for the recognition of African heritage as an essential part of Puerto Rican identity. The play questioned the concealment of black ancestry within Puerto Rican families and promoted a social reflection on internalized racism and assimilation. José Eleuterio Derkes Martinó died in Ponce on December 21, 1883. And is buried in the cemetery now known as the Roman Valladolid de Castro National Pantheon. It is located in Niche 61 West Row, First Order, Rental. Most of the niches were vacated and deteriorated over time. As a result, they were restructured. The importance of José Derkes as an intellectual in the history of Puerto Rico lies in the fact that he embodied a form of active and conscious resistance, and was also a direct witness to the transformations experienced by the black population before, during, and after the abolition of slavery. From his position as a free black man, he used education, journalism, and theater to give visibility to the Afro-descendant population. He provided a cultural and intellectual platform from which society could question racial inequality and the very system of slavery they live on. His legacy was recognized in his hometown with the Derkes Coliseum, built in 1890 in his honor, but today it no longer exists as a physical building or structure, and the Eleuterio Derkes School in Guayama, built in 1908, which has been listed on the United States National Registry of Historic Places since 1987 and is currently used in his honor as a school for children with disabilities. The government of Puerto Rico has not adequately honored his legacy, as there are no official commemorations held in his honor. His work has been recovered and revalued in literary studies conducted by Roberto Ramos Perea, particularly in his book Black Puerto Rican, Literature of the 19th Century, written by Black Authors, 2009. Derkes is considered the most prominent black intellectual in 19th century Puerto Rico. His work helped affirm the intellectual equality of the races at a time when slavery still shaped social life. More than a writer or educator, he was a builder of collective consciousness. He helped dignify the Afro-Puerto Rican experience, to challenge racial prejudice and to open spaces for representation and critical thought. His story demonstrates that, even within a slaveholding and deeply discriminatory society, there were individuals committed to ensuring that knowledge could become a tool for cultural and social emancipation. If you made it this far, follow us to learn more about your Puerto Rican culture. See you next time!